those of you who haven't heard that before, that's what happened when I did that. Everybody got quiet. So we go to Outward Bound once a year with our class, and one of the things that Outward Bound introduces are the commands. So the all hands on deck, every class knows that. And so thank you for playing along for those of you who are guests here today. So I'm Jan Kearse, and I have the honor and privilege of being the program director for Leadership Maine and the Institute for Civic Leadership. Both programs are turning 30 this year. Woohoo! Wow. Yep. And I think that's a lot until I go to the national meetings and there are programs there that are 40, 50, and 60. So I'm not sure I'll be here when it's 60, but the 60th anniversary, but I hope some of you are. And we'll keep on going. This year is the Eagle class, and we're going to obviously introduce you to the Eagle class, introduce you, and they're going to be inducted into the alumni group. And hopefully some of them will be joining us at our May 17th event next week. We're excited about this year. We had the Eagle class here, and then ICL, we had the Elephant class. And for those of you who are alums from a long time ago and wonder what the heck this whole Eagle and Elephant are, alumni asked for us to name the new classes past the Alpha, Beta, Gamma, etc. They asked us to name them after bodies of water and rivers. And sometimes you just end up with the names you end up because there's only one E or there's only one F. And this class is named after Eagle Lake, and the ICL class was named after Elephant Mountain. And that, people say, elephant, elephant. And I'm like, well, it's okay, because we're going to soar like an eagle for the next 30 years, and we're going to take the wisdom of the elephant to remember where we've come from and what's important, and be able to communicate over long distances, right? So we were very excited about that, and very excited about recruiting for the next class as well, and hopefully you'll help us to fill that. I am going to now turn it over to Yellow Light Green. Y'all know Yellow Light Green, come on. Yellow is the CEO of MDF. He's also a graduate of Leadership Maine. Which one's most important?
Graduating from Leadership
Okay,
Maine.
just checking. Right answer, Yellow. For a few remarks, and then we'll hear from our distinguished alum for Leadership Maine for this year, and a few other folks. Go through graduation.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. How are you? Whenever, for some reason, when I was in the class, and even now, whenever Jan says all hands, I want to go like this. So I guess that's not technically required, but to me, it's part of the deal. So, hey. So we have some alums here. Now, if you can shout out what classes you're from. If you're, yay?
Way back.
Allagash? Who else do we have? Damascata, last year. Vascahegan. Anyone else? And we have some ICL alums too. Awesome. So this class is definitely the best class, except for all the others. So, it's an amazing thing every year to have some role in a small way in helping a class launch during the 9 years I've been here at MDF, and then to help you close it out. And, I was telling folks, like, the hardest month is next month because, after being together every month, that void that leaves of those relationships and the connection and the looking forward to is a tough thing. I certainly want to acknowledge Julie Bean, who behind the scenes and occasionally in front of the scenes really drives everything for a lot of it. Thank you, Julie. And she also supports me on Leadership Maine Light that we do for Maine legislators, the Policy Leaders Academy, which is intense too. So she's often juggling many balls in any given week, and if she drops them, she notices, but the rest of us don't. So she's really good, and we really appreciate it. And of course, Kathy Shannon, who you've seen around for a couple of days, if not before this during the year, is our communications director, and also does our alumni engagement work. So she, I think, wants to make sure that all of you stay engaged somehow with MDF. So just a few quick thoughts. I was thinking about this quote, every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end, right? every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. And I'm like, oh, of course, yeah, that's the pop band Semisonic. So I Google it, and of course it's like, Roman philosopher Lucius Seneca. And I'm like, no shit, right? So I'm like, you learn something every day. And by the way, if you go listen to that song, Closing Time by Semisonic, it's a song that sounds like it's about who you're going to pick up at the bar. And in point of fact, it's about he and his wife having their first child. So go listen to that song, and you will be like, wait a minute, how could that be? Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. And so you were all amazing leaders before you got here, or you wouldn't have been in this class. And we hope our track record is that we don't screw it up for you. So many people, come from this program and, of course, go on to become CEOs and executive directors and state legislators and other points of influence in our wonderful state, if they were not already. So all we can say is we didn't screw it up for you. But hopefully we've added something of real value, and we understand fully that that value just comes from the people and the places and the things in our state that we can expose you to and help you think about. And most of all, it comes from getting to understand and appreciate and learn from the very people in this room who are your classmates. So we know our job is to create the container, as Jan often says, for just a wonderful learning to occur that you all drive. I just have a couple of other quick thoughts to share. Today is the last day of the session for the 131st legislature. They're dealing with thorny issues, including important policy issues that they have to determine whether to override a veto or not. The final elements off of their funding table, which MDF is on, I'm proud to say. We're trying to get them to restore part of the public to this wonderful public-private partnership. So half of my mind is in the halls of the state capitol. But we don't work with the legislature deeply every day. We work with them on this wonderful learning opportunity that we give them, like we give you Leadership Maine. And we work with them occasionally on some other things too. And they certainly love and use our annual measures of growth, benchmarking report to help guide their policy decisions. But watching them in the fray, every year, including this year, I think a little bit about like some of the peculiar challenges and stressors of leading in that public way, of being a public servant in the Maine legislature. And some of those things are universal to leadership anywhere, though. So I think about, we often say leadership is thankless. Well, if you think about folks in the public eye in Augusta, Washington, and elsewhere, not just thankless, heaped with criticism and even scorn, okay? So, I think about how tough that is and how hard it is to remind ourselves in that venue of leadership, let alone our own, that you have to have an ego, you have to have a thick skin, or you couldn't endure that, right? But you also have to remember that everyone shows up trying to do the right things for the right reasons as they see it, even if those right things and right reasons are very different than the starting suppositions that we have ourselves. And so, that criticism and scorn is mostly unwarranted and mostly unhelpful to wanting to have good people to take on leadership. And I think sometimes in our own organizations too, say, what the hell is leadership doing? I mean, it comes with the territory, right? Leadership is a team sport is one of the things that I'm constantly reminded of as I watch our public servants work on some of these things in the scrutiny of the public eye. Because, like in our committee alone, the committee was tasked to work on an issue that I'm not really deeply involved in. This issue with right to repair and data confidentiality of the many electronic devices, including those in our vehicles, but many others, that run our lives and have a lot of data about what our lives are about. And so the committee was like week after week grappling with debate and discussion and alternatives and scenarios and amendments on the facets of this issue. And I was just kind of a bystander there, because it wasn't my issue per se this session. But it reminded me that, it's a team sport because it's not just about a good direction to go in and a good idea to pursue. It's whether you can get 51% of other people who care about this to come with you. And it's a team sport always of What is worth pursuing, but is worth pursuing that I can bring others along with me on. It's a team sport. Persistence and resilience wins over best ideas and good intentions. Leadership is a grueling process, and having some principle and direction that you're pursuing, but having the flexibility, right, to move to where you can mobilize others without losing the integrity of that direction. It's not easy. But in the end, persistence and resilience over months and years in that committee room or in our own organizations is what ultimately gets an outcome, that hopefully we can be proud of and that moves our organization or our whole state forward. Sometimes the most important courage is just asking. If we happen to prevail on restoring some greater public investment in MDF's own work, it will just be because in the end we dared to ask and we persisted in that, and said, geez, I don't know, we're not sure we want to get involved in this political morass, and there's so many other more important issues, and we're probably going to spend 2 years fighting for this, and who knows. But oftentimes in that whole process, the most important courage is just to ask. And I think that's true in any line of leadership. If you don't ask other leaders to consider your perspective and your voice, if you don't ask other leaders to consider moving the organization in a different direction that's right for more people, it won't happen. And then finally, I learned oftentimes throughout this process, an open ear and a supportive word sometimes matters not only as much, but a lot more than any assurance of success. Because truly throughout this whole process, of advocating a little bit for what we hope to make happen, just legislators who are willing to listen and respond and be accessible and give some encouragement that it would be something they might be willing to fight for. Even though they weren't in a position to know if it had any chance, they weren't in a position to necessarily put it ahead of other worthy priorities at any given moment. But knowing that others are willing to listen and advocate and fight alongside you, it lifts you up, right? It keeps you going. It makes you think, all right, this is worth continuing to hang in there next week, next month, on advocating for something you think is worthy. So as a leader, I'm kind of reminded of that gift that some of those legislators gave to me during the process kind of reminds me that that's a gift I need to give to others intentionally from time to time. Like, I can't tell you if our organization can move in that direction, let alone succeed in it. But just by being willing to listen and be willing to say, I might put some effort into making a run at this, it validates and holds people up and says, all right, maybe it's not this year, but I can keep fighting for this good idea. So that's a little bit of what, as I reflect on just what I've learned from watching those who serve us in a very stressful and public way, some things that I'm reinforced in wanting to take back to my own leadership and never forget about the way public servants lead as well. I'm wearing my hopeful pin, and I know the hopeful sign has been on display in the meeting room throughout. And there's a thing that's prominent on the internet today, which is this idea that an accusation is a confession. Have you heard this little trope? An accusation is a confession. You're doing this probably means you're doing it too, and you don't want anyone else to know. But if an accusation is a confession, I think sometimes being an evangelist is your biggest audience is your own self. So when we started connecting with Charlie Hewitt about a year ago, and thinking about like how his art and his message might resonate in more communities that we work with and with more people, and then we had him as our keynoter at the annual meeting. And I was presenting a couple weeks after Charlie had presented, and I had these slides, but I didn't have like Charlie's massive 5-foot lit up sign. And I'm like, Charlie, it's just not the same without the massive 5-foot lit up sign to drive the point home. He's like, come by, I'll give you one. So I went by and I got the 5-footer and the little 2-footer as well. And so, but the thing about it is, for me personally, like last year was a pretty tough year. Personally, professionally. This year, it's been a pretty tough year in certain ways. But like, just knowing that I'm driving around with these 2 hopeful signs, in my hatchback, like, is keeping me going. It's giving me hope, even though I'm pretending that I'm being an ambassador to bring the hope to other people, right? And so, so I think always like don't hesitate in bringing hope and vision to others. It's okay that you're really giving yourself a pep talk, at the same time, and we all need that. So. Those are just a few thoughts. And then the final thing I want to close on, this is kind of random, don't want to get too tangential, but how many of you know the poet Raymond Carver? I got turned on to Carver in college. If you get a chance, I think these moments of like closing and beginning always make me think of the anthology A New Path to the Waterfall, which was published after Carver died. Died at 50. He was a severe alcoholic. At 40, they told him he had 6 months to live. He went sober and got 10 more years out of life. And these poems and fragments of poems, read Hummingbird, you'll love it. Read Gravy, 10 years of gravy he had, and read one called End Fragment. It just, to me, I think captures some of the emotion of that little sense of loss and closure from things in life. And then the final thing I want to close on, so last night after dinner, we have an occasional like quarterly Zoom Tales that we started during the pandemic with some of my college and graduate school friends. So, and I wasn't drinking because I still had to write talking points for the floor speeches today. But so anyway, so my friend in New York City, his son's just about to graduate from a Catholic school there that he went to also. And they had some of the awards. And so he was holding up like the Lucite award that his son had just gotten this week. And it was saying, we're giving you this award for embodying the Jesuit principles of loving. And because everyone else was drunk, there was a lot of tangential and not, and not particularly, heartwarming dialogue about like, what if he takes this plaque with him to his dorm room in college, and how are his peers and potential amorous interests going to react to having this lucite plaque in your room that says, "I got an award for loving." But I was thinking about this morning, all joking aside, of how deeply important that principle is in leadership. So. As much as we indirectly, gave this award some ribbing in our friend group last night, I just want to say, don't lose sight of the end that so much that drives great leadership is about loving. It's about loving yourself. It's about loving the community. It's about loving the people that work for you. And hopefully the love you forged in this class will never go away. Congratulations, and thank you for investing yourself in Leadership Maine. And 9 years out of 30, Jan has been doing this.
9 years.
I mean, it's amazing. So thank you, Jan, for yet another great year.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm just going to be up here momentarily. I have a few more thank yous. I promise the list is not too long. Bangor Savings Bank, L.L. Bean, Acadia Insurance, Mascoma Bank, Acadia Federal Credit Union, and FA Peabody Insurance are all graduation sponsors, and I thank you very much for that and being in support of our programs. So, thank you. I also there are people in this room who are mothers, fathers, cousins, significant others, and they are also folks that I want to thank, and employers, people who you work side by side who make sure that there's time for people to come to Leadership Maine, take this time off from work and be here. So thank you for being supporters away from here. There may have been times when you scratched your head and said, "What the heck did you just say you did?" Particularly with Outward Bound, but thank you for that support. It's really critical. So often we challenge our participants to be here, and work pulls them away. And so we'd like to just make sure that you know how important it is for you to provide that support, and thank you for doing so. So thank you. Now I'm going to ask and thank Nanette, who is a member of this year's class, and she is going to introduce our distinguished alum from this year.
Hello, everybody. I have an honor of introducing Claudette Ndaininahaze. It's actually a great honor because we are both from Burundi, and I was telling my class earlier, I don't get many chances to be in the same room with someone from my own home country, so this is special. Claudette Ndaininahaze is the executive director of In Her Presence. She has developed an effective network of resources that provides needed support for the immigrant, asylum, and refugee communities on a grassroots level. She is a leader in the Portland immigrant community, encourages individuals and communities to help themselves, but has never lost sight of the importance of compassion, gratitude, and modesty, which allows others to feel comfortable coming to her for assistance. A native of Burundi, Claudette has a bachelor's degree in administration and management from the University of Burundi and was a national sales manager for a brewery whose majority stockholder was Heineken. I know. I know. Claudette has served on the boards of different community organizations, HOPAGs, First Parish Unitarian Universalist, Youth Family Outreach, Vice President of the Burundi Community Association of Maine, Furniture Friends, Welcoming Immigrants Network, and Financial Stability Expert Panel with United Way. She is also an alum of the Leadership Maine Allagash class. Welcome, Claudette.
I want to say how happy I am that you are standing here. I've done, of the 9 years that I've been doing this, I am grateful that you were in one of those years. And I have had a chance to get to know you also when I was with ICL. So thank you for the work that you do and the journey you've been on, because I had a little glimpse into that over the years in terms of where you started and where you've landed and the impact you have in your community. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Jen.
you're welcome. And Claudette is the Ken M. Curtis awardee for this year, our distinguished alum. So thank you.
How are you? How are you doing? Great? Okay. So I want really to acknowledge and say thank you so much, Jane and your team. Thank you, Judy, for everything you do, for all the support and the leadership you are bringing to all of us and here, especially the community here in Maine. So, dear graduates and friends, as I stand before you today, I'm really filled with a deep sense of pride and gratitude, just like you. I once sat where you are now, eager to embark on the next chapter of my journey. The time I took this class, I was the only, not maybe the only, we were two, but I was the only Black person, woman, who didn't speak enough language that time. And it was back in 2018. I was really navigating the complexity of the new culture. The language was an issue. The food was an issue. The weather, I didn't really have any clue about the snow, because our weather back home, it's always hot. So, and also the system, the environment was really new to me. And when I reflect on my time as a student here, I realized that the most transformative moments were not confined to the classroom, textbook, or trips we were doing. Instead, if there is one thing that stands out above all, it's the transformative power of leadership. the ability to overcome barriers, inspire others, and create positive change in the world. You know, I could never do the work without others who have been holding my hands all the time. I'm so proud of anyone among you who has been part of my journey. I'm a testimony of a collective, a fruit of effort of many individuals that support and believed in me. Having the opportunity to support women and families through my organization and the community has been the honor of a lifetime. You know, I'm the youngest in a big family of 11 children. And I was really a spoiled child. Then my mom passed away when I was 6 years old. And then I was raised by my sister. And my sister was the mother of my niece, who is here in the room. And I wish they could see me now, because they would be so proud and impressed by the woman I became today. So when I first arrived in this country, I was filled with uncertainty, dark moments. Arriving in a new system where you start your life from the scratch is very challenging, as you know. The main concern here is how to find and navigate a path from what was the place you once called home to what will be someplace new where you start your life from the scratch again. Everything seemed really unfamiliar, and the road ahead appeared daunting. But as many of you here said, through resilience, connection, and the support of my mentors, I discovered that my immigrant status was not a limitation, but a source of strength. If we can turn here on the screen, you can add any word. Leadership means really a lot. Passion. You can add a lot. But when you see, I have been working, this is really the takeaway from my work, because you work with people with different culture, coming with different countries, eating different food, doing different jobs, and we have different personalities. But at the end of the day, it's the middle. How do you get everything here and create the middle? Because the middle is so hard. Shifting your mindset, mutual respect, and community engagement, that's the hardest part any leader needs really to do. What does leadership mean? For me, as I said, it's two ways. How do we reflect on our blindness? And how do we recognize the potential in others? I think it's important to understand here our own identity. I soon realized that leadership is not confined by borders or boundaries. It's not just about holding a title or a position of authority. It's about profound impact we have on others, the influence and the legacy we leave behind. Whether we realize it or not, each of us, I think, is a leader in our own rights, with the power to inspire, change, and make a difference in the world around us, regardless of where we come from or where we're going. Leadership isn't just about personal achievement. No, it's about resilience, determination, and the willingness to face challenge. It's about being humble, honest, willing to acknowledge that we need help. It's about embracing failure as a stepping stone to success and never give up, no matter how tough the journey may seem. How do we recognize the potential in others, which is so complicated sometimes and so hard to start and do? It's providing support, guidance, encouragement, being patient, creating a space, a safe space for people to express themselves, raise their voices, feel valued, heard, and empowered to pursue their dreams and aspirations. It's giving people hope, as they were talking, through confidence and a sense of belonging. You know, in her presence, we became the bridge for the community, able to impact more people and more people. We recognized the missing voice, became ambassadors, shifting people's mindset for a positive and transformational stories. And now, as you embark on this new chapter of your life, I urge you to lead, not for personal gain and recognition, but for the good of all. Whether you are entering a pathway, remember that your actions have the power to shape you, your family, the community, and the world around them. Someone said, if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. So, I challenge you to be leaders in your own life and become the best version of yourself. Congratulations again. May your journey be filled with purpose, passion, and endless opportunity to lead with courage, compassion, and conviction. Let's be out of the shadow and into the stage, because together anything is possible. Thank you. Yes, I'm here.
Claudette offered to take some questions if anybody
If
has
you
any.
have any question, I'm here.
And she's obviously available in her presence as well.
Yes, I am.
Questions? Katie?
What do you think has been the biggest shift that you've seen since you've started your work for the state, and what would be your grand vision?
So what I saw as a shift after doing really the leadership was that I became confident. And we start reaching out, I think, about the community engagement. That's what really I have seen, because if you engage the people you are working with, but it's not only because we are working with most of our immigrant women and families, but there are also other community, the mainstream community. And that mainstream community needs to be engaged in a way, on both ways. So we need the immigrant community and also the mainstream community. And that's how we decided to start working and doing the cross-cultural conversation with most of the employer we work with. We work with Hannaford when we place people into the job, and we work with Alagash. We have been really working with Alagash in many ways, and now we are working with UNAM and WEX, and they are supporting our work. So that's really the one thing I can tell you we have been developing, and it's working.
Any other
Okay.
questions?
Yes.
What would you say would be one or two things that you have taken away from your experience in Leadership Maine and applied to the work you do on a daily basis?
So, first of all, as I said, when I was in the bus, in that bus there, when the bus we were really doing those trips, I told you I was the only one. And I felt kind of isolated that time. But I took the courage, and I think they can testify that, really to change the atmosphere into the bus and wherever I was, because I felt I'm not going to be isolated. I need really to start talking and telling people that someone with a different culture, without the language, can be easily so isolated and even depressed. And that when I start talking about that, so when you are a minority, someone else in the big group needs really to care and see that person. They start doing it. So for me, I started really working when I was into the leadership. And that's what also I'm bringing outside. So there is you don't need to have a fear when you are working with people. You need to bridge that fear and really build the relationship and the trust. And that's the foundation for anything. Either you work for an organization, you work into your, as a big company, a company. I think building relationship and trust is the key to the success. That's my perception for my work. Thank you so much.
Claudette. Now we have the pleasure of hearing from a couple of our class speakers. Emily, I believe you are first. Emily Thoreau.
Hi, everybody. My name is Emily Theriault. I am a whitewater raft guide, and I am also a broker for commercial and residential real estate. It's so nice to see a room full of people who are here supporting our graduation today. So thank you all for your time. May 10th. Remember seeing that on our agenda and how far away that seemed when we all first met in September on the hottest stretch of time at Camp Levis in Jefferson for our Outward Bound experience. Outward Bound taught us a lot about ourselves. It optimized our group process, sharpened our competitive edge, acknowledged when to lead and when to follow, welcomed different approaches to solving challenges, identified our love for heights, and taught us how to execute a canoe-based scavenger hunt. That was so stressful. We then got to tour Aroostook County. We had 3 days of being together on a bus, traveling to a number of businesses who took time out of their busy schedules to share the pride that they have in their work, the passion they have for their business, and the love that they have for their community. Additionally, we had a tour guide on our bus to commentate and give ad hoc pieces of intel along the way. Thank you, Justin. This experience broadened our awareness, respect, love for French fries, and pride being a Mainer. We consistently got to experience the feeling of being welcomed and inspired at every other business we visited. My reflection is being impressed by the creativity, progressiveness, dedication, and perseverance with all the successes and challenges Maine businesses face. By the businesses sharing their story, we are all able to take random pieces of information and apply to our own professional and leadership development. To conclude, I want to thank my classmates, so thank you. We have a pretty cool group. We have a marathon runner who's also a developer. We have a photographer with a PhD. We have a director of pharmacy of Maine's largest health system. We have leaders from Maine's higher education institutions. We have a triathlete, a director from Live Work in Maine. leaders in banking, one who is also Miss Maine, a leader from CMP who is directly responsible for our utility bills, and an attorney who we may have consulted with along the way to review family wills and leases and the like. We made use of our 3-day bus tour. And he gets sick by reading, but we still made him do that in the bus. And to the Maine Development Foundation. Jan and Julie, thank you for your hard work and investment in our leadership development and your support for our success. We appreciate the opportunity to be a part of this program, and we're sincerely grateful for the experience. We have a generous, kind, and humorous group, and I'm grateful that I got to share my Leadership Maine experience with you all. Cheers to our Eagles class.
Where's Justin? Oh, there he is. Next up is Justin Dubois.
So welcome everyone, and thank you, Emily, for kind of recapping the relationship side. I think that was so important to our Leadership Maine journey. I guess coming into this experience, I knew I was going to develop a whole lot of leadership skills. Obviously, that's the purpose of the class. But building this bond that we created as a group over a relatively short period of time was quite impressive. We bonded together over 3 days at Wavis, and literally after day 3, we were calling each other cousins. We have bonded with our learning partners. We have bonded with each other in different ways. We've networked all over the place. However, what I'm touching upon today is more of that leadership journey as opposed to the relationship building side of things. So along my leadership journey, I realized that there was 3 different things that were what I figured were the most important things that I gathered from Leadership Maine. So the power of relationships, change, and your authentic style, your leadership style. So in the ever-evolving landscape of leadership, one thing remains constant: the importance of relationships, ability to change, and the authenticity of one's leadership style. Leadership is not merely about giving orders or making decisions. It's about fostering connections, navigating transitions, and leading with integrity. Here's a closer look at why these elements are crucial in today's dynamic world. So first, I'm going to touch upon embracing change and challenges. Some of you may be familiar with my journey, while others may not. So allow me to provide a brief overview. I call these my baptism by fire moments. The moments in my life that have helped mold who I am. I was on track to become a 4th-generation owner of a building supply store situating in the charming town of Fort Kent, nestled in Aroostook County. I'm the tour guide. Having devoted 5 years of working at Quigley's Building Supply, I had engaged in discussions with my wife and in-laws regarding the transition of ownership. Fresh out of college, recently married, merely 23 years old, I found myself at a pivotal juncture. During a hunting expedition with my father-in-law, father, and a family friend, at a remote hunting camp in the North Maine woods, our return journey, which involved a boat trip, took a tragic turn when the boat capsized, resulting in the drowning of my father-in-law. This harrowing experience presented me with several challenges that profoundly influenced my personal growth. Not only did I have to grapple with the loss of a father-in-law, but I also had to convey the devastating news to my mother-in-law and wife who had lost their husband and father. All of this unfolded against the backdrop of what had initially been one of the most memorable weekends of my life. Following that initial shock and grief, I found myself thrust into a role of running a family business, a responsibility I had anticipated assuming gradually rather than having it suddenly thrust upon me. At 24 years old, I was confronted with the daunting task of managing a business alongside seasoned employees, many of whom had more experience than I had years of life. This experience served as a profound lesson in leadership, resilience, and adapting to change. Subsequently, I made the decision to sell the store, enabling my mother-in-law to retire. This choice was undoubtedly a challenging one, as parting ways with a family business is never straightforward. Nevertheless, I recognized that embracing change and confronting challenges were essential for the well-being of both myself and my family. Currently, I've found a new professional role at Acadia Federal Credit Union where I'm eager to tackle new challenges, embrace change, cultivate networks, and refine my leadership abilities. This transition signifies a fresh chapter in my journey, one characterized by growth, adaptation, and a steadfast commitment to personal and professional development. In today's fast-paced world, change is inevitable. Whether it's technological advancements, market shifts, or societal trends, leaders must embrace change rather than fear it. Adapting to change requires flexibility, resilience, and a willingness to challenge the status quo. Leaders who embrace change see it as an opportunity for innovation, growth, transformation, and they encourage experimentation, foster culture of continuous learning, and empower their teams to adapt and thrive in dynamic environments. By staying agile and responsive, leaders can navigate uncertainty with confidence and lead their organizations toward sustainable success. Moreover, embracing change fosters a culture of innovation and creativity. It encourages individuals to explore new ideas, take calculated risks, and push boundaries of what is possible. Through embracing change, leaders can inspire teams to envision the future, seize opportunities, and drive meaningful progress. So now let me touch a little bit upon relationship building and networking. So throughout my journey of assuming control of the store, I recognized the importance of seeking assistance from others. In doing so, I dared to aim high by reaching out directly to the upper echelons of an organization that I was part of. I distinctly recall composing an email to the CEO of a co-op buying group that I was a part of, a multi-billion-dollar entity. While I harbored no expectation for a response, I felt compelled to articulate my challenges and obstacles. To my astonishment, not only did I receive a response, but also this initial connection blossomed over time. Today, I still receive Christmas cards from the CEO, and moreover, this association has resulted in accolades for my achievements and opened doors to networking opportunities with prominent global corporations. All of this transpired because I dared to send a single email. At the heart of effective leadership lies the ability to build meaningful relationships and cultivate strong networks. In today's interconnected world, leaders cannot thrive in isolation. They must engage with colleagues, stakeholders, and communities to foster collaboration and drive collective success. Networking is not about expanding one's contact list. It's about creating genuine connections based on trust, respect, and a mutual understanding. These relationships serve as a foundation for effective communication, collaboration, and problem solving. Leaders who prioritize relationship building create environments where individuals feel valued, motivated, and empowered to contribute their best. Moreover, networks provide valuable resources of support, guidance, and opportunities for growth. Through mentorship, peer-to-peer learning, diverse perspectives, leaders can broaden their horizons, challenge their assumptions, and continuously evolve in their roles. So now, let's talk about embracing your leadership style. As a child, and I've said this story to a few of you this week, as a child, the allure of tending summer camp had a special place in my heart. I vividly recall eagerly exploring various opportunities and stumbling upon a Jewish camp in Maine that captured my imagination. I distinctly remember questioning my mother about our religious affiliation, wondering if it aligned with the camp's requirements. Despite our devout Catholic beliefs, the dream of attending such a camp persisted within me. And while that childhood desire remained unfulfilled, the longing for the camp experience endured. Leadership Maine, however, presented itself as the closest parallel to a childhood aspiration of attending summer camp. Participating in this program as an adult proved to be an extraordinary experience, one that resonated with me deeply. It was during my time at Wavis that I discovered the facet of my personality. I am a wooer. People who are especially talented in the woo theme love the challenge of meeting new people and winning them over. They derive satisfaction from breaking the ice and making a connection with another person. My other strengths were communication, maximizer, positivity, and arranger. The Clifton Strengths Survey yielded remarkably accurate insights into my character, providing a comprehensive understanding to my strengths. Furthermore, this experience underscored the significance of refining one's existing skills rather than striving to excel in areas where improvement may be limited. Embracing one's strengths and surrounding oneself with diverse leadership styles are pivotal to achieving success. By focusing on honing our innate abilities, we can become invaluable resources to others who may lack in those particular strengths. Thus, the journey toward the success entails not only amplifying our own strengths, but also fostering a collaborative environment where each individual's unique talents contribute to the collective growth of prosperity. Every leader is unique, with their own strengths, values, perspectives. Embracing one's leadership style means owning who you are and leading authentically. It's about leveraging your strength, embracing your quirks, and staying true to your principles, even in the face of adversity. Leadership's not about conforming to a predefined mold. It's about discovering your own path and leading authentically and with integrity. Whether you're introverted or extroverted, analytical or creative, collaborative or decisive, there's no one-size-fits-all approach to leadership. Embracing your specific leadership style allows you to lead with confidence, inspire others, and make a meaningful impact. Moreover, authenticity breeds trust and fosters deeper connections with those you lead. When you are genuine and transparent, people are more likely to respect and follow you. Embracing your leadership style also sets a powerful example to others to embrace their own uniqueness and unleash their full potential. So in conclusion, leadership is a journey marked with relationships, change, and authenticity. By building meaningful connections, embracing change, and leading with integrity, leaders can inspire others, drive innovation, create lasting impact in an ever-evolving world. So embrace your journey, embrace change, and embrace your leadership style as you lead with purpose and passion. I'll leave you with Acadia Federal Credit Union's motto as I feel it fits Leadership Maine perfectly. Together, we will. Fly, Eagles, fly.
I love that his "Together We Will" was the same thing Claudette said when she was talking about her motto earlier. So, Julie.
Senator King
Oh my gosh.
prepared some remarks for the class. So we are going to play that video first. Okay, here we go.
Leadership. Who knows how to define it? Who knows what it is? But it is very important, whatever it is. And over the past year, you've been developing the tools to make you an effective leader, whether it's in your business, your nonprofit, your community, or in the state of Maine. I, of course, remember my year in Leadership Maine, 1994, the first year. I jokingly say, I don't know if you still do a project, but my project was running for governor, which, you know how that worked out. But in any case, what you're doing is so important to just build that tool set that you can bring to bear on a whole host of problems. As I say, it's very hard to define leadership, but I can tell you that my experience has been in a whole lot of different settings that leadership is the essential quality that makes a difference. And you now have new abilities and new relationships. You've made friends throughout this process. I can still remember riding on a bus with Salwin Millett or with Elizabeth Swain or others who were in my alpha class of Leadership Maine. And you've built relationships that are going to be important to you and to the success of your enterprise for the rest of your life. And that's one of the wonderful things, of course, about Maine is that we know each other, we care about each other, and you've developed a whole new network. So, congratulations. Thanks for all the work you've done. And now, put what you've learned, put those tools to work on behalf of the enterprise that you're engaged in, but also your community and the state of Maine. Thank you for what you've done. You're now ready to make a difference.
You too can run for governor. Or Senate, or legislature.
All right.
So class, if you would, you recall our little exercise today, if you would, join us in the back.
Okay, well, first up,
Hold on, we're not ready.
we have Michael Adams.
Michael Adams.
Thanks.
On the program. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Michael Adams
Thanks.
was with one of our partners, Freddie Flaherty, and
Yep.
now he's doing something a little different with Bangor Savings
That's
Bank.
right.
So thank you
Thanks.
so much. Thanks, Judd.
Thank you.
Lucas Anderson.
We were peanut butter and jelly
It's true, we were.
at Outward Bound.
Oh boy. Photo?
Yeah, bring it together a little. There we go. There we go. Andrew,
Thanks.
can I move this light? Or whoever's chair this is, I'm sorry.
Yes, do what you need.
You need a chair? You know what, I'm just gonna move over here. I'm sorry if I'm in the way. Someday you'll thank me. Oh God, that one like right on top. Can we all just take care of Kathy right now?
Right.
Go ahead.
Okay. Jamie Ballinger.
Thank you. Thank you, Jan.
Elliot Berry.
Thank you.
Oh, that's a good one.
Kristen Bishop. Heather Blackwell.
Mom's right.
Okay. Thank you. No, she didn't. Thank you. So Heather's mom is, which class?
I'm Epsilon.
Epsilon.
Elizabeth Benson.
Yes.
So proud of my girl.
Heather Campbell. Linda Chaudron. Kathleen Doan.
I know, I watched. Oh, hold on. Oh my God. I can do this!
Of course you can. You survived the water. You can do it. Note this, for those of you who have not seen us, this is an LL Bean bag with the MDF logo and 30th anniversary.
Justin Dubois.
Oh, and a smile. What a pro.
Jason Ensley.
I just want to say, to defend Jason a little bit, somebody talked about him, being responsible for our power prices. But he's also the guy you want to be really, 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 really nice to, because he gets our power back up.
Amberlyn Esperanza.
Better known as Miss Maine.
Thank you.
Oh, what a pro.
Melissa Farinas. Next up is Lori Fisher, but she cannot be with us. She had some important work, things to attend to. Sherry Gallion. Kim Getchell is also in the class, but she joined us for part of this, so she had to leave. Kelly Glidden. Amber Harrison. Brianne Hasty.
Brianne has a fan club at the DECD. That's possible.
Karen Hawks.
Thank you. Should have put it on video for the dance. We were doing that in class this morning.
I was the lone nut.
Alone, not yet.
Courtney Holt.
And Courtney's already done her work for Maine. She brought a new life into the.
Florence Hall is also in the class, but she had to catch a flight, so apologies on her behalf. All right, next up, Ninette Erabaruta. Brian Martin. Next person comes from the company who donated these lovely bags. Beth Merrill. Lainey Moffett. Laura Reading. Aaron Rice. Denise Scuderi. Marcus Sherman. Katie Shorey.
Thank you.
Emily Terrio. Nikki Williams.
No, we almost dropped it. Thank you.
And last but not least, our very own MDFer, Perry Williams.
So thanks everyone. That's the last individual who is graduating today. So thank you for being here to celebrate. You're welcome to eat more dessert, to give more hugs, and to lead on. Thank you.